Hi, my name is Wayne Walton. I am a monetary reform activist in Summit County who's supporting the initiative for Mountain Hours local currency for Summit County. And basically, this video is basically to explain how Ithaca, New York has had a similar system for 20 years. So it's nothing that is new or unproven. And basically goes through and describes how this could benefit you, how it will help your business have more transactions, how it can help individuals have a greater level of prosperity, because there's, effectively there's this much money in our county. Well, lots of that money gets whisked away because of globalism from Walmart and big box stores, etc. Well, if we are able to increase that level of monetary circulation and have that stay inside the county, we would recognize that we could have more transactions, and more transactions equals more prosperity. So we, generally speaking, most people are saying they don't have enough money, right? Well, this is a way we can have more money. Mountain Hours is going to be issued interest and debt-free. So that by itself keeps that we have a situation where we're going to create more money than debt. The inverse is actually what's happening now. All the Federal Reserve notes are created as a debt, and there's always more debt than there is money. So it makes it impossible to sustain. That's why countries are going bankrupt all over the planet. And they're having sovereign debt issues because they create this much debt and only this much money. So they make it really complicated on TV, but that's all that's going on. And it starts with the very first Federal Reserve note they put into circulation. It says that it's a note on it, which is a debt instrument. There's more debt than there is money. So when you borrow $1 plus interest, that's the overall debt, but you only have $1 to pay it. That's the underlying problem with everything that's going on. Well, we can create a sustainable system without waiting for the corrupt people at the national level for a vote. We can just take action. So the currency, our money, listens to us. It stays in Summit County, and it's got these advantages where fundamentally we'll have more transactions. That's the biggest part of it. More transactions means more wealth for us, a higher standard of living, and everybody pretty much can agree that Americans' standard of living has been going down. And that's the plan.
Hi. I'm going to have a coffee and a tahini oat cookie. Can I pay for this with hours?
Sure.
Here's a half hour, that's worth $5.
Okay. Do you want change in hours?
Yes, I'd like my change in hours.
I heard you talking about Ithaca Hours, and I was wondering, why would you use that instead of regular U.S. currency?
One of the major reasons is to encourage people to buy local produce from local craftspeople, farmers, whatever you have, and it keeps all of the currency inside the community so that it's an economic plus for the community. Here's one of our favorite hours.
Oh, that's so cool.
You like that? Yeah. Everybody loves that.
That's such a great idea.
Well, local businesses like it because it's a sign of their commitment to the local economy. They have a little sign beside the cash register that says we take Ithaca Hours. That means that they're committed to circulating money inside the community.
Here you go. Thank you. Thank you.
I've always been interested in Ithaca Hours as a very creative enterprise, about a very fundamental thing, the idea that a community finds that it doesn't have enough money, so what do you do about it? You know, do you complain about it, or do you wait for politicians to solve the problem for you, or what do you do? Or you say, well, if we don't have enough money, well, why don't we make our own? You know, the simplicity of it and also the audacity of it at the same time is something that appeals to me.
And so it is in the classics. Marvin Gaye, greatest hits. My dad will love this.
It's basically a community enterprise.
Thank you, Aaron. You have a good day. The spirit is the community spirit. It's the idea that we are helping to support each other. We are helping each other out. It's a kind of local community solidarity.
Here in the heart of Massachusetts' Berkshire Hills, traders would rather you leave your credit cards and dollars behind and pay them in these. Berkshires, a homegrown currency that's forging a truly local economy. The small town of Great Barrington is perhaps an unlikely front line in the fight against globalisation. But several banks and some 250 businesses are now accepting Berkshires in an attempt to keep cash in the community and support local trade. 835,000 Berkshires have been printed and more than 500,000 are in circulation.
We've probably touched 1 million Berkshires here in the bank because they're coming in, getting exchanged for different denominations, things like that. So it's been very, very popular.
Asa Hardcastle is the president of Berkshires Inc., a non-profit organisation that has helped promote the currency. How easy is it to use Berkshires here?
I use Berkshires all the time.
He believes Berkshires are critical to helping his community survive and thrive in a global economy.
The more a Berkshire is exchanged, in other words, the more it goes from business to business or from person to person to person, the more money stays here. And by having people be open to the concept of shopping locally, there is going to be naturally more business done in this economy. Not to mention that whenever a credit card is used, that's a portion of the money just disappears forever out of the economy.
Increasingly, people are going to the bank and trading in their dollars for Berkshires. It's created a real sense of community, something that people want to be a part of. It's a lot of the reason they come here and buy local cheeses and local groceries. And it's the same idea.
The Berkshires are legal tender in the United States, and supporters of the project believe that most small and rural communities could benefit from having their own currency. If the Berkshires project goes well in the first year, there could be cash machines and even a debit card. There are also talks at the town hall to discuss the possibility of paying taxes in Berkshires. Jane O'Brien, BBC News, Great Barrington, Massachusetts.
The Great Depression in 1929, which spread throughout the world, was triggered by the crash of the stock market on Wall Street in New York. In the United States, banks were closed and unemployed people filled the streets. This crash was the first real crisis for capitalism. It was also a turning point toward communism and totalitarianism in the world. In the 1930s, during the Great Depression, different varieties of local currency were issued all over America. Municipal bodies of states, cities, towns, and villages, companies and labor unions started to issue their own currencies, which circulated within a limited area. Over 3,000 kinds of autonomous currencies were issued at that time. In the United States, for more than 30 years, futurologist Hazel Henderson has made an effort to search for a variety of possibilities which lie in an economic system. Henderson thinks the clue to understanding the chaos of modern society lies in analyzing what happened in the 1930s.
There were these thousands and thousands of currencies from every little town and village in the U.S. Made their own money. And companies paid their employees with these kind of scrip currencies, as they're called, and associations of unemployed workers put out their own currencies. And so these currencies circulated in the local communities, and it's a way of meeting the needs of people without going outside the system.
Well, imagine living in a town that has its own currency. You'd be able to use it in all the stores, even pay off loans with it. And so far, it seems to be paying off for one New York community. But can it work in yours? CNN's Brian Jenkins takes a look.
$5, okay, and I'm going to pay with the quarter hour also. Super. Okay.
With their own form of currency called Hours in circulation for 6 years now, folks in Ithaca, New York have become fairly adept at figuring fractions. The 1 hour note is worth 10 US dollars. It shows the city's most stunning natural feature, Ithaca Falls. People here are proud of their Finger Lake scenery, proud of their city of 30,000, their county of 100,000, and a few folks decided having their own legal tender with government approval would help keep money made here, spent here.
I think it's an acknowledgement of what our community has to offer from people to people.
The currency first goes out to businesses that pay for ads in the bi-weekly paper, Our Town. 360 places now accept the bills, including the Body and Soul Tattoo Parlor and the Autumn Leaves bookstore.
About as many people use Ithaca Hours as use an American Express or a Discover card.
The Alternatives Federal Credit Union takes the bills for all its fees.
We're a small store. A lot of people who shop here know each other, and barter is a way to build relationships within the community as well.
That's what Shade Gomez has done with the part of his pay he gets in the local currency.
I've spent it on childcare for my son. I've spent it on rent.
Tim Allen's done a variety of jobs for local pay.
An hour value is $10, so I could ask a value of $10 for an hour's worth of work, no matter what it is. So it raises the minimum wage for me.
Ithaca's mayor says the local currency has also helped get ideas off the ground.
It's allowed some people the opportunity to start businesses or expand their businesses, much more beyond the scope of what they would ever dream of.
Most folks here aren't concerned with how the currency looks, but what it does to bring people together. Brian Jenkins, CNN, Ithaca, New York.